The 5 members of the Bali Nine sent home by Indonesian authorities have spent their first night in Australia in almost 20 years. Matthew Norman, Scott Rush, Chen, Michael Czugaj and Martin Stevens have expressed their gratitude to Indonesia's new president, Prabowo Subianto, in a statement after landing in Darwin. They've been taken to a non-disclosed location for what the government describes as rehabilitation and reintegration, and the men have requested privacy. Indonesia correspondent Bill Birtles has more.
This was one of the most important diplomatic deals ever struck between Indonesia and Australia. And judging from the huge degree of secrecy around the return of the men, it clearly is very sensitive. Indonesia's top law minister, Yusril Mahendra, has confirmed that the names of the 5 men have been added to a list of people barred from entering the country in future. This is hardly surprising. They are convicted drug smugglers, but some of the men have Indonesian wives, so it may be a bit personally tricky. He also, the minister, has stressed that the men were not granted clemency and they were not released early from their life sentences, but rather they were transferred as detainees. But legal experts for weeks in both countries have said that a prisoner transfer wouldn't be possible. And even though Prime Minister Albanese spoke of the men now being in rehabilitation, government officials have indicated that having returned home, they are now free. So this looks like Indonesia has released them early on humanitarian grounds. You might think that would be controversial here, but on the contrary, Indonesia's government is planning to do the same for another convicted drug smuggler later this week. Mary Jane Veloso, a woman who was due to be executed alongside 2 members of the Bali Nine back in 2015, but she received a late-minute reprieve. She is due to go back to the Philippines in a few days under very similar circumstances to those 5 remaining members of the Bali Nine.